Hello, this is another of those videos about data, and this time we're going to be looking at finding the range. Now the range isn't a type of average like the ones we looked at before. It's a measure of how spread out our data is. So say I've got this data here, same set of data as we had before. If I want to know how spread out my data is, I could put it in order like this, like we did before when we were finding the median, and I could look at the biggest and the smallest. Now the biggest is 8. The smallest is 1, so the range of my data is, well, it goes from 1 up to 8, so that's 7. It's the difference between the biggest one and the smallest one. How spread out are my data? Well, the smallest and the biggest, there's 7 in between them, so we say that the range is 7. Let's try that with an example then. I'm going to do this example on the left, and you can try the one on the right. So what have we got here? We've got 5, 13, 9, 6 and 2. So what's the biggest in this data set? Well, it's 13. What's the smallest in this data set? Well, it's 2. So 13 take away 2 is what we need to do the biggest one. Take away the smallest one, which means my range is going to be 13 take away 2 is 11. So 11 is the range of my data. The range equals 11. That's how sort of spread out from the biggest to the smallest is. Okay, pause the video here. Have a look at the one on the right. Okay, we should have an answer. Let's have a look, see if we agree. So this time, what's the biggest value in my data set? Well, it's 12. What's the smallest value in my data set? It's 1. So I'm going to have to do 12 take away 1, which means my range this time around is going to be 12 take away 1 is 11 again. Now, did anyone spot the sort of similarity between my two data sets that gave me ended up with the same range? This one was 5, 13, 9, 6, 2. This one was 4, 12, 8, 5, 1. These data values are just the same as these ones, but shifted down by 1. Everything is 1 less. So instead of 5, I've got 4. Instead of 13, I've got 12. And when we did that, it didn't change the range at all, because the range is how spread out the data is. So when we take away 1 from everything, it stays the same amount of spread out. So the range over here was 11. The range over here is also going to be 11. Last thing we need to do then is just write down a definition to check that we're happy with what we're doing to find the range. So the range is the difference between the highest and lowest values, between the highest, and we can find that by doing a subtraction. Data values. And again, it would be a good idea for you to get this written down in your notes jotter if you have it, or wherever you have some space to get it written down. Okay, there will be some practice questions to have a look at, and also this week's quiz. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you later.